Alright, today we're going to be using the metric system to convert between different units of measure. In our previous video we were talking about the standard measurement system. So now we're going to be using the metric system. And if you don't know some of the more common conversions, I've written them down on this index card. So if you want to pause so that you can copy this. But we're still going to be talking about length, capacity, and weight. Remember, length is how long something is, capacity is how much something can hold, and weight is how heavy something is. I've also written down the abbreviations for all of our metric measurements. So, our first question is, well, how do we set up the conversion? And just like before, we're going to have two fractions. Sometimes we'll have three, depending on what relationships we need. We always want to write down what we're starting off with, always over 1. And then we're going to multiply it by what we want to turn it into. And then this is always going to be the same unit as the starting unit. So this triangle represents the same unit of measure, and this heart represents the new unit, what we want to have. Okay, so let's start with our first example. We're going to be converting 5,000 meters into kilometers. So we're going to set up our two fractions. Remember, we're multiplying, okay? And in the first fraction, we're always going to write down what we're starting off with, okay? So I have 5,000 meters, and go back to your card. Meters abbreviation is M, so I'm going to use M for meters. This will be over 1, okay? Now again, we want the same unit to be diagonal from one another. So I know that meters will come here on the bottom. And we want to turn these meters into kilometers. So abbreviation for kilometers is going to be km. Okay. Now we're going to just look for the relationship between meters and kilometers. So first I have to decide, well, what is it? Is it length, capacity, or weight? And it looks like I do see a relationship between kilometers and meters on our first line. So I'm going to write that down. So 1 kilometer is the same as saying 1,000 meters. Okay. Now that we have this information, I can put this information into this fraction. So make sure that you're writing the correct numbers with the correct labels. So the number 1 has to go with kilometers. That means that I'm going to write the number 1 here on the top. And the 1,000 meters goes with M, so I need to write the 1,000 on the bottom. Okay? Just like before, we're trying to eliminate meters, so now we can, and we are just multiplying straight through. Okay? So when you multiply here, 5,000 times 1 is going to give you 5,000. On the bottom, denominator, 1 times 1,000 will give you 1,000. From here, you're going to divide. So take your calculator, and if you divide here 5,000 by 1,000, you should get 5. Okay? And this, again, we're trying to turn the 5,000 meters into 5 kilometers. So make sure to write your unit 5 kilometers. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's convert 3 kilograms into grams. Same idea. Let's create our two fractions. We're starting off with 3 kilograms. So I'm going to write 3. Kilograms is kg, kilogram. So I'm going to use kg here over 1. And again, diagonal from kilograms, we should see kilograms also. So kilogram we're going to write on the bottom. And what do we want to turn this kilogram into? We want to turn them into grams. So I'm going to write just a G for gram on the top. And now look for that relationship on my card. So looking for kilograms and grams. It looks like it's in weight. We have the relationship kilogram to grams here. 1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 grams. So 1 kilogram is the same 1,000 grams. Now we're going to put this information into this fraction in the right spot. So the number 1 goes with kilograms, kg, and the number 1,000 goes with grams. Now we can eliminate our kilograms, multiply straight through, and find our result. Okay? So if you need to pause to use your calculator, multiply, divide, and get a response. Multiplying 3 times 1,000 will give us 3,000. Multiplying 1 times 1 will give us 1. And if I divide that, I will get 3,000. We're trying to turn kilograms into grams. That means that 3 kilograms is the same as 3,000 grams. So make sure to write the appropriate unit there. Okay. Last one. Let's convert 9,000 centimeters into kilometers. This is a pretty large number. So we're going to create our problem with the two fractions. Always write down what you're starting off with. In this case, we're starting off with 900,000 centimeters. And looking at your chart, centimeters is cm. Okay? So I'm going to use centimeters here. Over 1. Now, centimeters should be diagonal from itself. And we're trying to turn these centimeters into kilometers. So I'm going to go check in here to see if I have a relationship between centimeters and kilometers. And it turns out I don't, okay? But I do have ways to get to kilometers. I see that 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. That's really not going to help. But I see a relationship between centimeters and meters, and I also see a relationship between meters and kilometers. So I think I'm going to need these two conversions in order for us to complete this problem. I'm going to need 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, and I'm going to need 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So that means this fraction should have meters and centimeters. And that also means I must include one more fraction that I must multiply. So I'm going to extend this bar so that now diagonal from meters, I see meters again, and I really want those kilometers. Now I'll write down the relationships in the right spots. So I'm looking at meters and centimeters, which is our first relationship. The 1 goes with meters. The 100 goes with centimeters. Now I look at the second relationship. Kilometers, I only have 1 kilometer. And then I have 1,000 meters. Now we can eliminate the centimeters, which we don't need, the meters, which we also don't need, and now we do have those kilometers. From here, go ahead and multiply straight through. Okay. If I multiply on the top, 900,000 times 1 will give you 900,000. And 1 times 100 times 1,000, that gives me a 1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So that gives me 100,000. And now, of course, we're going to divide. 900,000 divided by 1,000.